Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're here today. Today is March 11th, 2026. I wanted to get on here very quickly and say there are two things that have happened. They were my tripwires. I had put them in my mind to define as defining moments. If this happened, then I was going to do this. And and they've happened. And they've happened. The two tripwires were oil, the price of oil going over $100 per barrel. That happened. And the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. And that has happened. So, when those two things happened at the beginning of this week, I began to go into this mode. A mode, I don't even know what the best word is for it, but I began to make decisions that were very reminiscent of how I felt March of 2020, right before the World Health Association or the WHO organization said we were at a global pandemic and announced that. I felt that before they announced it. I sensed it. I saw it coming. It was a gnawing. It was a knowing. It was a knowing. I don't know what other word to put to it, y'all. It is a knowing that this is not going to turn out well. And that is how I feel now. It is based on what I'm seeing happen. It's not just a whim. It's not just a feeling. It's a knowing. We're in and honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I have no need to be right about everything I say. But y'all, I do not think this is going to be easy, this war. I do not think it's going to end quickly. I think we're going to see things that are going to shock us. That being said, the two things that happened, those two red flags for me, those tripwires that were crossed and triggered, what I have done this week, and not in a frenzy and not in a panic, I have secured more chicks. And I found out chicks have become very expensive and chicks are hard to come by. So I learned that. And I live in an agricultural area in West Texas, in the Texas Panhandle. So getting chicks, I wasn't, I was like, God, I'm just really not, I don't really want to do it. And it was just like, do it. And every time the Lord has told me to do that, I've obeyed him. And every time I've been glad I did. So that was one thing I did. The second thing I did was go through all of my supplies, all of my preps, and just take them up a notch. Take it up a notch. Especially food, and thinking in terms of not that the supply, I do think the supply chain is going to be interrupted, but I don't know that we're going to feel that right away. The prices are going to go up. And so I know eventually I'm going to have to pay those high prices. I realize that. But in the short term, at least maybe I can have a little break to get my feet underneath me, to brace for what else is happening, what is going to happen. I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that we are being lied to by our government about the amount of wounded and the amount of casualties. I believe that. And it's not because what I've heard in the media or in the independent media, although I do I that confirms what I've thought. Uh, the sources I listen to, the friends I have that are in the know, have confirmed this. It's actually the Lord. It's actually God who has, before this even happened, said this was going to be the way it would go. And it is the way it is going. So it is the dreams and visions and the words from the Lord that I believe and I have determined as best I could to discern it was from God. Though that is what has made this knowing so strong. In the news stories that have captured my attention, I guess this was probably last week. It probably was last week. Dover Air Force Base in Delaware put out a job opening. This is my understanding. Put out a job opening for an administrator of personal effects. Now then, I know Dover Air Force Base is the place they take the remains of our fallen soldiers, and that I understand that is their specialty, their emphasis. But when I saw that, I thought there's going to be more. There's going to be more casualties than just 6. At that time, when I saw that article, we were being told there were only 6 casualties. Uh, I, personally, I don't believe that. I think the number is much higher. I think the number is much higher. I think that our THAAD missile defense systems have been taken out. Many of them have, mainly because they're scrambling to get them brought in from South Korea and other places. That's not good. Are we winning? Probably. I guess if you're, I don't even know how to measure that. I don't even know how to measure that, but it would stand to reason that we would be doing well over there based on our military supremacy. I'm okay with that. But I do not think this is going to be a little short thing like we saw in June of 2025. No. This is war. And it is my opinion, my observation, and I haven't Googled it. I haven't asked AI or nothing what defines a world war, but I have always defined it as a bunch of countries when one conflict, one specific war draws in many, many nations, then that's a world war. And daily, what's going on with us in the area it's going on in of the world, every day we're hearing more nations that are going to send more weapons, more aircraft carriers. They're going to hang out in the Mediterranean. They're going to hang out in the Red Sea. We're sending the another aircraft carrier over there. That to me does not say, hey, this is going to be over soon. That does not speak that to me. What it says to me is, I guess if just, you better get ready, girl. That's what it says to me. You better get ready now and not panic. I cannot tell you how peaceful I have felt. It's been like a divine peace on me. I've been more nervous about things that I think were less threatening, but I was more jumpy about. I probably was more nervous about what happened in June of 2025, mainly because I was not at home when that happened. But I was more skittish about that particular event. This event is a solid, like I am on a firm foundation of the Lord. Like the Lord has set me on a firm foundation and has allowed me to I just am watching and absorbing these things going on over there. And when I say absorbing the news, I basically is what it is. I'm absorbing the news. I am not like obsessed with it. I'm very, very serious. It is very serious. It is very dangerous what's happening. What I mean about absorbing it, obviously, it's not mainstream media. I have been going to independent sources. Y'all know I listen to NY Prepper, but he hasn't been making a lot of videos. I've listened to the ones he has made, but what I have been doing, which has been fascinating process for me, is reading the the comment the comments that are just, and the mods on that channel, on NY Prepper's channel, and I know they don't listen to me. I know no one's here from that channel, but the mods on that channel do an amazing job of posting news. Just when the headline comes out, they put it on there. And believe me, the news has been absolutely just a freight train of constant flow. And as they're, so I read it. So I sit and I slowed the chat down, obviously. So I read, I don't read all of the stuff in between, all the comments, but I read what the mods post. I read the headlines, and I don't do it all day every day. I At first I did a lot. I checked in a lot, but now I just check in kind of in the morning and in the evening, maybe once in the middle of the day. So those headlines that I read, I just, it's nearly like a filing cabinet drawer. Just, it's like there are files of headlines, and each one builds on the next one, or is connected or not connected to. Either I use it as a valid, like I think that's true. There are so many lies going on right now. There are things our government flat does not want us to hear about. And I'm not talking about strategic locations that need to be kept under wraps so Geraldo doesn't find out where our troops are and put them in jeopardy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I believe there have been casualties and wounded that we're not hearing about, that are Americans. Bases that have been hit. I believe this. I also believe this concept, this analysis, and I think this was Monkeyworks who was saying this. I can't remember. I think it was. Who was saying the battlefield is the economy for our enemy. That they cannot outbattle us with weapons and missiles, although they can cause a lot of hurt. But what they can do is cripple the economy worldwide. And that is what they are doing. They are not alone. They have world powers behind them too. Our enemy does. World power governments. And y'all know when I say enemy, I'm talking about the governments of these people. I'm talking about the military. I'm not talking about the regular citizens like you and me who are just trying to do the best they know how to do. I hope y'all know that. But sometimes I think we equate Iran with Iraq, and they're not the same. I am no expert in any of those things, but I watch enough to figure that one out. I have also begun watching, I don't know how to say it. Is it Seoul? His channel, oh, sorry, did not mean to kick the camera. Is it Soul, SOLESOIL? He's a mod on NY Prepper, and he's started his own channel. Or he's doing, I don't even know. But he has put out live streams. I swear they're like 3 hours long, or they're long. I was listening to his monologue this morning that we are being lied to. It was something like that was the title. I had already concluded what he was confirming. I had already realized that. I had already concluded. And it makes me sick, y'all, honestly, because it makes me go, this isn't playtime. This isn't fun time. This isn't joke around about being a prepper, tinfoil hat time. This is serious stuff time. So I've gone on long enough. I'm going to wind this down with this. Now is the day. Today is the day to ready yourself. And I don't know what you need to ready for. You can get food, you can get canned good foods, you can get some beans and rice, whatever. You can do that, and you should. But more than that, and y'all know this message is true, you need to know Jesus Christ as your Savior and Lord, as the Son of God. And you need to find out who He is, what He taught, and how much He loves you, and that He died for you and He died for me. And the minute you give your life to Him and believe and follow, that is what matters now. Things that are eternal. Does that make sense to y'all? Can you hear me? Hear me and hear me well. Prepare your spiritual house as well as your physical house. Get yourself in order today. The draft, yeah, I think it's something like that's going to happen. Attack on the homeland, yeah. Will it be I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, I believe that's going to happen. Cyber attack, whatever, I don't know. I had a friend at church, a dear, dear friend, who asked me last Sunday morning. She said, I know I'm late to the party, but I need to prep. How do I start? And I was like, well done. You do need to start. So I told her some things. I gave her some advice. I said, hey, I don't want to go on too long here. Get some beans and rice, get some food grade buckets, start filling those up. That's the first thing. Decide what you're prepping for. Are you prepping for grid down? Are you prepping for a tornado? Are you prepping for, what is it? How many are you prepping for? Multiply that. Do the math in your head. But more important than anything, start. Get started. And I think a lot of people out there think, oh, yeah, I probably should. They're telling us to get ready, especially in Europe, have 2 weeks of medicine and water and food. Well, 2 weeks, y'all, that ain't enough, but it's a start. So I'm going to leave it with this. I'm going to back off of that. I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but I am going to say, get your house in order and get your heart in order. And the heart is Jesus. He is the answer to everything. I'm going to leave that with y'all. Stay safe, America. From the pantry, this is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.